Today we're gonna make Bachelor Button cookies. I found this recipe in a vintage box and it was clipped from the newspaper. I have no idea when, but it was submitted by a Mrs. B. Cameron in Canada, and I suspect she probably lived in New Brunswick, which is where the box of vintage recipes came from. Let's get at it. Today we're gonna sift, and that's thanks to my friend Bobby, who donated a vintage sifter to our kitchen. We're gonna start with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're gonna sift that. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. Then we're just gonna squeeze to sift. That's it. We're gonna set this aside and work on the base. We're gonna cream together 3/4 cup of shortening, 1 egg, and 1.25 cups of firmly packed brown sugar. Set our mixer to cream and away we go. Now that it's creamed, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 3 tablespoons of hot water. We're gonna give that a mix again. And now that's all incorporated, we're going to remove the beaters, get all the dough out that you can. And now we're gonna stir in our already sifted dry ingredients. I'm just gonna dump it all in at once, because that's the way I roll. Keep going and working it until everything's all incorporated. It looks a little crumbly right now, but that's okay. When we make our cookies, they're gonna stick together. You can see everything is moistened, and as I move it with the spatula, it is starting to stick together. So I think we're ready to move on to the cookie phase. Okay, this says we can make small balls, or we can drop it by teaspoonfuls. I'll just show you both. Take a little bit, put it in our hand, and we're gonna squish it until it makes a little ball. And everything's held together nicely. That looks pretty good. Or you can use a Pampered Chef scoop like I have. And scoop it on. I'm going to say what we need to do is press our finger in the center, and we're gonna fill that with jam. I think the hand roll balls look better. I am gonna use the scoop to kind of get the right amount because I want a consistent size. You have to play with it a bit to get it to not crack. That's okay. I'm just gonna keep making balls, and I'll catch you back when we're ready to fill them with jam. Okay, I have my first tray done. And now we're just going to fill the centers with some jam. I have strawberry rhubarb. And so I'll be honest, my jam was naturally made and didn't have a lot of pretty color in it. So I've added a drop of red food coloring just to make it a little prettier, only because these are cookies. Now my cookies cracked a little bit, and I don't know if that's normal or not. And this looks like a hard way to do a glob. That looks too big. Okay, let's try something different. I am now using 1/4 teaspoon. That's better. Still a little messy, but these are homemade, so everybody's gonna know it. Everybody's gonna know you put your heart and soul in these. And I'm just gonna continue filling all of these. Okay, these are going to go into the oven at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes, or until they are brown. I'll see you back in about 10 minutes. Our cookies are out of the oven, and I have them here cooling now. And I just wanted to show you the difference. So I told you I added red food coloring to my cookies because the jam wasn't particularly pretty looking. But I decided to do one where I didn't add the red food coloring. And as you can see, it is so much prettier with just 1 little drop of red food coloring. So I do highly recommend that. It's not necessary, like you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it does have a slightly better presentation. Once these cool, we'll try them. Here they are, they're done. Let's try a bite. They smell so good, and as I showed you earlier, the one without the food coloring was not nearly as pretty, so I'm gonna eat a pretty cookie. There's a good bite. It's soft and chewy. It's really light in flavor. It's not a heavy cookie at all. This is delicious. The jam is good. I like the jam. I think this is a recipe that you can kind of change a little bit to suit yourself based on what kind of jam you put on the top. It cooks down and condenses and has this nice flavor on the cookie itself. It's kind of reminiscent of a sugar cookie, so it doesn't have a strong flavor. There's a light vanilla flavor to it. Delicious. If you try this, comment below and let me know how you made out. What kind of jam you use? What was your favorite? This is strawberry rhubarb. I'm sure there's lots of other choices that would be just as delicious. Thank you for watching and liking and share. I will see you guys next time. Bye.